In Miami-Dade, there is a rule, written, active, and legally binding, that many residents don't know, and that some commissioners seem to prefer ignoring. It's called, Reasonable Opportunity for the Public to be Heard on Non-Public Hearing Propositions, Rule 6.06. And it's not a courtesy. It's a right. What exactly does this rule say? Rule 6.06 requires the Board of County Commissioners and its committees to give the public a reasonable opportunity to be heard on any policy proposal that will be voted on and that does not have a formal public hearing. Rules of Procedure. The rule uses the term, proposition, to describe a matter of general, substantive policy, not a procedural motion or a minor administrative detail. Rules of Procedure. And it's clear, if the Commission is going to make a decision on a substantive issue, the public must have a chance to speak before the vote. Where does this right apply? If the issue goes first to a committee, the opportunity to speak must be provided at the committee meeting. If the issue goes straight to the full commission, then the opportunity must occur before the full commission. The commission cannot hide a decision in the agenda and vote without hearing from the people. When can they legally deny public comment? Rule 6.06 outlines the only valid exceptions: emergencies involving health, safety, or public welfare where delay would be harmful. Ministerial or routine actions, approving minutes, ceremonial items, adjournments. Meetings exempt from the Sunshine Law. Quasi-judicial proceedings, like zoning, where other procedures guarantee due process. Second readings of ordinances when public comment was already provided. Propositions where a reasonable opportunity was already offered or will be offered later. Outside these exceptions, the rule overrides any other internal rule. It is not optional. It does not depend on the chair's mood. How does it work in practice? The rule lays out a clear procedure. The citizen registers with the Agenda Coordination Office before the meeting starts. They fill out a card with their name, address, the proposition they're speaking on, and whether they are in favor, against, or providing information. When called, they come to the podium, state their information, and have a limited time to speak. In practice, this limit is 2 minutes per person, with overall time caps for those supporting and opposing the item. Rule 6.05 on decorum also requires that comments be directed to the Commission as a body, not to individual commissioners, and prohibits vulgarity, personal attacks, or disruptions. Reasonable order is expected, but with microphones open. What can commissioners not do under Rule 6.06? This rule makes several things completely unacceptable. They may not cut off a resident who is speaking on the proposition, just because the comment is critical or uncomfortable. They may not use, "that's not on the item," to silence comments clearly related to the funding or policy at stake. They may not weaponize the 2-minute limit, especially when no one else is waiting to speak. They may not give long, uninterrupted time to lobbyists while cutting residents from vulnerable neighborhoods to 1 minute. The time limit exists, yes. But the key word in the law and in Rule 6.06 is reasonable. Not a tool for selective censorship. What has happened with Oliver Gilbert and Kian Hardiman? In recent years, Commission Chair Oliver G. Gilbert III and Commissioner Kian Hardiman have enforced these rules so rigidly that it becomes a political filter. At budget hearings, residents questioning spending priorities are cut off at 1 minute or exactly 2 minutes, with the phrase, "Thank you means your 2 minutes are up." Even when no one else is waiting to speak. When residents reference the mayor or commissioners regarding animal shelter failures, transportation issues, or violence in minority neighborhoods, they're told they cannot address individuals, even though the rule only prohibits personal attacks, not mentioning officials and legitimate criticism. At the Infrastructure, Innovation and Technology Committee, a resident criticizing the county's electric vehicle spending asked for just 1 or 2 more lines to complete her citation. Gilbert immediately cut her off, denying extra seconds even though the podium was empty. His response was, "Thank you means your 2 minutes are up." Submitted in writing. Technically, he can point to the timer. But is that a reasonable opportunity to be heard? Or is it a procedural wall used to keep uncomfortable criticisms off the official record? What residents can and cannot do under the rule. Residents are allowed to speak respectfully on funding, programs, public contracts, transportation, shelters, policing, or any policy decision tied to the proposition. Criticize administrative decisions, demand accountability, or request investigations. Mention the mayor or commissioners in their official capacity, as long as comments are directed to the commission as a whole. Yield time to a representative when many residents speak on the same side of an issue. Residents cannot use insults, profanity, or threats. Turn the meeting into a rally. No posters, shouting, or applause. Demand multiple comment rounds on the same proposition when the law only guarantees one reasonable opportunity. And the Commission cannot turn time limits into a pretext to silence dissent. Manipulate off-topic claims to block related criticisms. Ignore the county charter's guarantee that residents have a right to be heard when time permits. Final message. Rule 6.06 is not a formality. It is the legal mechanism that ensures democracy in Miami-Dade. When a commission chair tells a resident, "Thank you means your 2 minutes are up," while giving lobbyists unlimited time, the problem isn't the clock, it's the misuse of power to decide who gets to be heard. In a county of nearly 3 million people, facing rising violence, collapsing transportation, budget failures, and misuse of public funds, the word reasonable in Rule 6.06 should serve the public, not shield elected officials. Because government, of the people, by the people, for the people, begins with one simple act. Let the people speak, and listen to them fully.